Namaste and good morning to all of you. Let's start our Wednesday class with some prayers. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Om Bhu Bhuvaswaha Tatsavitra Varenayam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Asto Ma Satgamya Tamso Ma Jyotirgamya Mrityorma Amritam Gamya Om Senavavatu Senabhunaktu Saviryam Karvavahi Tejasvi Navadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahi Om Shanti 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 Om. Last week we started talking about some terminology, the Vedic terms. And students of Vedic knowledge, we should know the meaning of these terms. So that's why last week we spent some time. Today we will just continue with our last week's understanding and those terms. So I'm sure you all have the handout also by now. So you can look at it. And any term you are not familiar with, yeah, I can see that Jyoti says handout is not out.
It's not out.
Sorry about that. So, but write it down. Even if you don't know the proper spellings, just write it down. And when you get the handout, you will try to understand it better. Okay. So we talked about, started with Brahma. There's only one Brahma, one absolute God, reality, truth, different names, just one. Then we talked about several terms which are two in number. Then three also. But then I could not finish all three. So last one we talked about was 3 ways to remove the covering over ourselves. Shuddhata, that means purify yourself. And that's why they say that when we go to the temple also, when we meditate also, just make sure there's a Shuddhata in you, not only at a physical level, but mental level also. Shuddhata. Then Ekagrata, concentration. That means do not have a scattered mind, concentrated mind, that's Ekagrata. Then Sukshamta, make your mind so subtle that you can pierce through this Maya and see who is the owner of this Maya. Maya Adhyaksha, Sukshamta. Okay, so that's where we ended our class last week. Now I would like you to take your mind towards Hatha Yoga again. In Hatha Yoga, there is some cleansing processes. Hatha Yoga is about the body. There are 3 main cleansing techniques. One is called Vatsar. Clean your body with the air. Vatsar. Then there's a Varisar. Vari means water. Clean yourself with water. And then there's a Agnisar, which is also called a Vahnisar. Vahani and Agni means fire. Okay. So these are the 3 main techniques yogis talk about to keep this body clean. Because when body becomes dirty, excessive mal in the body makes us sick. So they have given us these beautiful techniques. Vatsar, Varisar, and Agnisar. Okay. We are not going into the details. We are just trying to understand the terms over here in this class. And then in future, we can talk about how these techniques are. How do they work if you're interested in that. Okay. Then another 3 is in Vedas, if you just look at the portions of each Veda, there are 4 Vedas, but each Veda has 3 sections to it, which are called Kand. Karma Kand, Upasana Kand, and Gyan Kand. Karma over here really means rituals. Okay. Upasana, the Upasana, that means sit near your God, near your Guru, learn something, Upasana. And Gyan Kand, after learning, after doing those rituals, you should understand that real Gyan also, which is God Himself. Okay. So Karam Kand, Upasana Kand, and Gyan Kand. So Kand means the portion. Then if you look at the Vedas, thousands of mantras in the Vedas, summary of all the mantras, Rishis say, is Gayatri mantra. And Sar of Gayatri mantra is what? Om. And they say Om has teen matraएं, 3 parts to Om also. What are those? Bhu, Bhava, Swa. Bhu means this earth. Bhava means the sky. And Swa means even beyond the sky. You can call it Antariksha. This is like everywhere, wherever mind can't even go, even the intellect can't even reach. So a person who understands that his Om is God, and God is here on this earth, God is up there in the sky, and God is even beyond the sky also. That's what they mean when they say that Om ko jano teen matras se. That means God is everywhere. Okay. All of this is known to us theoretically. We read about it, we understand it intellectually. But how come we don't experience it? Yogis, they say, because of this Hridaya Granthi. This Hridaya Granthi has 3 parts to it too. The first part is called ignorance, avidya. Second part is kamanai, desires. Because of the avidya, we have the desires, the worldly desires. And because of the worldly desires, we stay busy into karam. So avidya, kam, and karam. These are 3 knots of the heart. So Hridaya Granthi means knots in our heart. Because of these, we really don't understand. Even though God is here, right here, inside us, outside us, but we really don't experience it. Okay. Now let's move into the categories of force. First 4 I have is the karam. Nitya karam, Namatic karam, Kamya karam, and Nishid karam. Nitya karam means the daily duties. Every day we should pray twice, 2 sandhyas, dusk and dawn. We should meditate. We should go out and earn living. We should take care of this body by exercising, feeding it. Those are all Nitya karam, daily duties. Whatever station of life we are in, doing our duties. Okay, Nitya karam. And what is a Namatic karam? Namatic karam is periodically what we do. Not every day. Weekly satsang. Or any kind of a festival. Some festivals come in 6 months, some every month, some once a year. Those are called Namatic karam. Doing them properly. Kamya karam. Some of the rituals we do, some of the actions we do to fulfill our desires. Kamya karam. wish fulfilling activities. Then the fourth one is nishedhakaram, prohibited actions. The Vedas very clearly talk about it. Don't do those actions where you hurt somebody, where you cheat somebody. Papakaram. Those are called nishedhakaram, prohibited actions. As a yoga abhyasi, nityakaram, we should do. Namatikaram, we should do. Kamyakaram, we should stay away from. Because we want to live a life of nishkam. Okay, not a sarkam. And nishid, definitely not prohibited actions. We should be very careful about those. Okay, so these are four. Then there are four goals in life, which are called purusharths. Dharam, arth, kam, and moksha. Moksha is the ultimate goal, but the other three, as long as we are in this body, we have these goals also. Dharam. What is my dharam? I have a question over here. Nishumur. Are you talking about Nishid? Right? So let me see. The question is Ashuddh, yes. Yes. Ashuddh means not pure. So Nishid and Ashuddh, same thing. Okay. So Dharam means righteousness. That means your duty also. That means knowing what to do, what not to do. Stay on the path of Dharam. That is a very first goal, to understand what my Dharam is. According to that Dharam, earn your living. That is Arth. Whatever you need to do your duties properly. Arth. Okay. Then Kam is, we are all here because we had certain desires. Fulfill those desires. With this understanding. Calm. Okay. And moksha is liberation. Ultimately, no kamanae, no desires, freedom, liberation, nirvana, the same thing. Okay. So these are the four goals of human beings. Dharam, Arth, Kam, and Moksha. Then again, four Vedas we have. Rig Ved, Yajur Ved, Sam Ved, and Atharva Ved. The oldest one is Rig Ved. Sometimes it's written R-I-G, sometimes it's written R-I-K. It depends which part of India they are spelling it, but it's Rig Ved. Rig, okay? So in Sanskrit, when they write Rig, that G is half. That's why some people just put K there. Okay, so Rig Ved. So Rig Ved, Yajur Ved, Sam Ved, and Atharva Ved. There are four stations in life in human beings, which are called ashrams. Brahmacharya ashram, Grihastha ashram, Vanprastha ashram, and Sannyas ashram. Brahmacharya ashram is the schooling time. Brahmacharya. Got to learn how to control these senses. Learn about this body. That's why Brahmacharya ashram, even though you are studying something, some kind of a vocation also, but at the same time, there is a sadhana for this body. They call it a sharir sadhana in Brahmacharya. Do not let this body become your weakness. Do not fall for the temptations. Brahmacharya. So that you can put all your energy into what you're doing instead of dissipating your energy running around here and there. Then the second ashram is a Grihastha ashram, householders. So you have learned some kind of a vocation, you are standing on your feet, you are the head of the household now. And for this one, manasu sadhana. Most of the time you are living with somebody, so you got to learn how to control her. Even if you're not living with somebody, you're not married, still you are earning your own living, and you have to learn how to work with people. Control your emotions. Do not get distracted. And the third is when you retire, Vanprasthashram. That is the time when we pay more and more attention towards our intellect, the buddhi. Our full-time job is to study the scriptures at the feet of the Guru. In olden times, even the kings and the queens, they used to go to the ashrams, and ashrams used to be in the forests. So that's why one means forest. So it's a forest dweller. But forest dweller, not just to do the camping, forest dwellers, so that you can live a life as an austere. Okay, not as a vacationer. And the last one is sannyas ashram. So in the first stage, you did the Shrira sadhana for the body. The second one, you did the Manasu sadhana for the mind. Third one, you did the sadhana for your intellect. Fourth one, Atma. Try to detach from everything else. More and more concentration on the soul. Atma sadhana. Then there are four varans also. We talked about it a few weeks ago. Varan. Four divisions, four classes, or four castes, whatever you want to call it. But there are four divisions in any society. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. They all have their particular duties to do your duty. Okay? There's no higher or lower duty. Your own duty, remembering that you are serving God. A cleaner can clean the street, remembering that God is there, can reach moksha. At the same time, a learned person reciting the mantras and thinking I am the best will not. It's how you do your duty. Can you remember God while you're doing your duty or not? So it's not what you are doing, but with which attitude you are doing. Okay. So again, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So Brahmins are the scholars. Kshatriyas are the leaders. Vaishya, they are the business people. And Shudra, they are the serving class. Rishi Patanjali talks about several times in that scripture, Yoga Darshana, how to clean the mind. Especially these four ways of cleaning the mind, he emphasizes quite a bit. Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha. He says, anybody who's happy, think they're your friend. You don't have to get involved with them, but internally be happy, just like you'll be happy when your friend is successful. Okay? Maitri. Everybody is our friend. Karuna. You will see somebody hurting, have compassion for that person. When you have a compassion, whether you are doing something for somebody or not, you are definitely cleaning your own mind when you're feeling bad for somebody. And then mudita. Mudita is some kind of a punya karam is happening. Another church is being built, another mandir is being built, or you see that another person giving a good discourse. Be happy about it. That somebody else is doing God's work too. Don't feel jealous. We have churches over here on both sides of our ashram, big churches. Before COVID, they had to call the cops to make sure that there was no problem with their traffic over there. That many cars used to come. It makes us feel good. That so many people go to church in these big churches every Sunday. That's mudita. And what is upeksha? While there are some punya karma is happening, some pap karma is happening too. Because in this world, there's a pap and punya constantly happening. So what do you do when there's a pap karma happening? Don't judge. Just observe while staying uninvolved. Okay? It's almost like if you're walking and there's a mud on the way, puddle of mud. If you go through it, you will have mud on you. But if you go around it, you'll be safe. That's upeksha. But if you keep thinking, oh my God, how come there's a mud? Somebody didn't clean it. Then you are getting involved mentally and you are dirtying your own mind. Uninvolved. Upeksha. So Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha. Then in our own body over here, there's something which is called Antakaran. Karan means instruments. Anta means inner. While we have outer instruments, our arms and the legs and the eyes and the nose and the ears, there are inner instruments also. And those are 4. Man, Buddhi, Chit, Ahankar. Together they are called Antakaran. Inner instruments. Man is our mind. Flow of thought is called man. Buddhi is when we can decide something. Decisive faculty is called buddhi, intellect. Chit is where the memories are stored. Impressions are stored. Deeper part of mind is called chit. And ahankar is I amness. I am. So man, buddhi, chit, ahankar. According to these Vedic studies, there are 4 yugs. And these yugs keep on going in a cycle too. Even though the cycle was very long cycle, but still they just keep on going. Time. Satyug, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga. According to Bhagavad Puran, how long they are? Kali Yuga is 432,000 years long. 432,000 human years. We are currently in Kali Yuga and we are like a 5,500 something. That's where we are currently. So it's like a morning of Kali Yuga. And then Dwapar, when Lord Krishna was here, that was 864,000 years. So twice as long as Kali Yuga is Dwapar. And Treta, when Lord Ram was here, that was 3 times longer than Kali Yuga, 1.296 million years. And Satyug, 4 times longer than Kali Yuga, 1.728 million years. Okay, so Kali Yuga, Dwapar, Treta, Satyug. And then after Kali Yuga, again Satyug will come. Then Treta, then Dwapar, then Kali Yuga. So cycle continues. Okay. Now we talk about a dharma all the time. That we should live a dharmic life. Who established this dharma? Brahma's Manas Putra Manu. That's why it's called Manav Dharam Chaturvidha by Manu. And there are 4 categories to this dharam also. Vishesh dharam, Asadharan dharam. So Vishesh means like your status. Asadharan means extraordinary. Apt means crisis, during crisis. And Samanya means common. Okay, we have talked about it earlier also, but very quickly, let me go over it. Vishesh dharam is according to your status or position in life. You have duties. If you're a householder, or if you're a vanprasthi, or if you're sannyasi, what is the Vishesh dharam for you? According to your age, according to your position. That's called a Vishesh dharam. Then there's a extraordinary dharam, Asadharan, because this Prakriti has given you something special, something extraordinary. It could be knowledge, it could be wealth, it could be strength. You don't own it, it has been given to you, and you are supposed to help the society with that. That's why any good singer, we say, please sing a bhajan for us. People who have the wealth, they help the charitable organizations. People who have any other kind of a capability, they help also. As long we help the society and other people with whatever God has given it to us. That is our dharam. Then comes the Apta dharam. Apta dharam is during emergency, during crisis. What is your duty? For example, the sannyasis, they are not supposed to touch women. Or sannyasi women is not supposed to touch a man. But if somebody is hurting, somebody needs help, it's okay to help at that time. If there is a fire in the house and a person is taking a bath, is in the bathroom, it's okay to break the door and get that person out. That's called a crisis. For example, in Vedas, they say, Masam na bhakshet, do not eat meat. But it's also written in the Vedas, under crisis, even the rishis can eat meat if there's nothing else available to sustain this body. Only in the crisis, in the Apta time. Then there's a Samanya dharam, common dharam. Everybody should follow that. What is that? Values in life. For example, be truthful. Help others. Don't be jealous. Don't be angry. Don't hurt. That's it. Samanya dharam. So remember, Vishesh dharam, Asadharan dharam, Apta dharam, and Samanya dharam. These are the 4 categories of dharam. Now let's look at the 4 sections of the Vedas. Number 1 is called Sanhita. Sanhita contains hymns and the mantras addressed to various celestial gods and supreme God. So Devatas and Brahma. The second section of the Vedas. See, there are 4 Vedas. All 4 Vedas have these sections. Brahman. Brahman describe the rituals which we follow in the yajna, in the sacrifices. And again, the hymns are employed. Then the Aranyak. Aryanyak. Aryanyak. Aranya means a forest. They discuss the meanings of the rituals. See, in the Brahman, only the rituals are given. But in Aranyak, the meanings behind the rituals. So that means there's a philosophical inquiry in the Aranyak. And 4th section is Upanishads. These are the philosophical texts revealing the knowledge of God. That's why no matter which Upanishad we pick up, knowledge of God. To different students, different ways, but that's all knowledge of God. Okay, again, let me repeat. Sanhita, Brahman. This Brahman is different than Brahman. It's different than Brahma. Different from Brahma. So Brahman and Aryanaka. And then Upanishads. So these are the category of force. As I was saying last week, you can add into it, but I just wanted to give you the terminology which normally we use in studying our scriptures here at the ashram. So that's why some Hatha Yoga, some Raj Yoga, okay, and some Vedic. Now the next category is the fives. You're all familiar with the 5 basic elements, which are called bhuts. Bhut padarth also it's called. Prithvi, Jal, Agni, Vayu, and Akash. In English, they are said earth, water, fire, air, and space. Space sometimes is called ether also. Okay, so nothing can be manifested without these 5. Different proportion, but they are here. In our body also, in anybody else's body also. Everywhere. Okay, so earth, water, fire, air, and space. All these 5, they have a subtlety to it. That subtlety is called Tanmatra. That means the essence of these bhut padarth, these elements. Gandh, ras, roop, sparsh, and shabd. So that means a smell, gandh, smell. Remember that the first one is corresponding to the first one up there, the earth. So in the same order, earth, water, fire, air, and space. Over here, smell, taste, form, touch, and hearing, the sound. Okay, so if you are familiar with the Hindi terminology, gandh, ras, roop, sparsh, and shabd. Okay. Then Rishi Patanjali talks about 5 kleshas also. Kleshas are the afflictions. It's a Sanskrit word, klesh. Avidya, Asmita, Rag, Dvesh, Abhinivesh. 5 klesh, 5 affliction. And the root of this is avidya, the ignorance. Ignorance means not knowing yourself. Forgetfulness of your real nature, that is avidya. Asmita is egoism. You forgot who you are and you started thinking that you are the body. It's almost like a son of a millionaire goes to the city, drinks too much and forgets. Sits over there as a beggar asking for money. Forgot. Asmita. Rag means attachment. Attachment to something which is good to us. We get attached to it. Dvesh is we want to stay away from it. Dvesh. Something bad happens, we just want to stay away. Okay, so that's aversion, dvesh. And abhinivesh is fear of this bodily death. Because you don't know who you are. You forgot that you are eternal soul. You forgot that you are part of God. Even though we know we got to let go of the body, but we just can't even think about it. People don't even want to talk about it. They don't even want to say the word death. That is a height of abhinivesh. Avidya, Asmita, Rag, Dvesh, Abhinivesh. Then we have 5 karmindriya, action organs. Power to speak. Then we have power in our hands. Power of our legs. Power of excretion. And power of genitals. There are devatas associated with it. Power of speech, which we call speaking, it's Agni. That's why sometimes we say the person was speaking, fire was coming out. Sometimes I have seen it even in normal tone. If I'm speaking, giving a retreat, we have done it at the ashram for 7-8 hours, body temperature goes up. Speaking. Okay. Power of hands. Indradev. Grasping. Power of legs, they say Vishnu. Movement. Power of excretion. Yam. Removal of the waste. And power of genitals. Prajapati. Sensual power. Sexual power. Okay. So Indriya, Karam Indriya. We are so blessed with to have all these 5 Karam Indriya. And especially if we can offer everything to God with the help of these Indriyas, how fortunate we are. Then Gyan Indriya, on top of it, the sense organs. Power of hearing associated with the sound. Power of feeling, touch. Power of seeing with the eyes. We can see the colors. Power of hearing, that we already talked about. Power of taste. And then power of smell. So again, there are devatas associated with it too. That's why they say that this is a temple. Devatas reside here. Deho Devalya Prokta. It's a temple given to us. We got to first treat our own body as a temple. Only then we can see the temples around us. Starts from yourself. So power of smell, Ashwin Devata. Power of taste, Varuna Devata. Power of seeing, Surya Devata. Power of feeling, Vayu Devata, touch. So it's like a smell, taste, color, touch, and power of hearing. It's called a Dik. Dik means these quarters, Dishaye. Dik. Okay. You want me to repeat it? Let me start from the top. Power of hearing, sound, and Dik. D-I-K, that's how it goes, Dik. Power of feeling with the touch. Vayu. If there was no air, we cannot touch. Power of seeing, Surya Devata. Power of taste, Varun Devata. Ras, the taste, they're all connected. Power of smell, Ashwins. Ashwin Kumars, smell. Next category in these fives is Vritis. You remember the definition of yoga? Yogash Chit Vritti Nirodha. I told you Chit is a part of the Antekaran. Vritis are the modifications or the fluctuations in the Chit. So what are those Vritis? How many Vritis? How many different ways our mind gets fluctuated? Rishi Patanjali again. He says, Parman, Viprya, Vikalap, Nidra, and Samriti. Praman means something we see correctly in front of us. Praman. There's a fluctuation in our mind, good or bad. It's right there. With our senses, we see it. Viprya means something is there, but we see something different. We think it's different. It's contrary to what it is. Even the contrary, there's a fluctuation in our mind. Viprya. Then comes Vikalap. In Vikalap, you didn't even see anything. You are only imagining. That's a fiction. Sitting over here, thinking I'm going to win a lottery. Didn't even buy it. There's no ticket. But only planning, daydreaming. That is called Vikalap. And then Nidra. In our sleep also, mind is still working. Deep sleep, mind is sleeping. But when you are sleeping, the first part, where the dreaming, there's a fluctuation. It could be a good dream or a not so good dream, which we call it a nightmare. Again, fluctuation. And then Samriti, whatever happened in the past, you just keep thinking about it. Oh my God, when I went there, it was so beautiful. Or that person just didn't talk to me 10 years ago, 5 years ago. How come he cheated me? Right? We can all relate to this. Parman, Viprya, Vikalap, Nidra, Samriti. Aren't we so fortunate to have scriptures like this? The rishis, they dissected everything for us. Okay, as a householder, we are supposed to do Panch Mahayagya. In our Bhagavad Gita class, we've been studying that our life has to be Yagya Rupi. Yagya Rupi. And then in the Vedas, they say these are the Panch Mahayagya every householder should do. If we want to evolve ourselves into the higher realms. Dev Yagya, Rishi Yagya, Pithri Yagya, Nar Yagya, and Bhut Yagya. Dev Yagya, who are the Devatas? Devatas are in our body also, Devatas are outside also. These 5 elements are our Devatas. Don't pollute them. Respect them. If we respect them, they will respect us. See, just like in this body also, if we take care of our senses, we'll have a comfortable life. Dev Yagya. Rishi Yagya. The rishis are the one who wrote the scriptures. We need to pick them up, study them, do the swadhyay, and live a life according to these principles. Rishi Yagya. Then Pithri Yagya. We are here because of our ancestors. Even science says that the genes are in a human body. It goes back to the 7 generations. And we can see this outer wealth also. Any kind of a wealth. You think I could tell you all this if my own father wouldn't have taught me this? I owe it to him. And he always used to say, and he has written in his books also, he owes it to his father. And I'm sure his father said, I owe it to my father. This is called a pithri yajna. Never forget where the wealth is coming from. Be thankful to them. Instead of having your pictures on the walls, have their pictures on the walls so that you can look at them. Thank them. Because of you, I am here. Or if you remember something, whatever they like to do, whatever charity, wherever they wanted to give, you give something on a regular basis. That's a pithri yajna. And what is a nar yajna? That means when guests come to your house, see God in them. Don't think that again they have come. No. Do the namaskar? Our tradition is even touch their feet, wash their feet. Make them feel welcome. Nar yajna. That is like a general hospitality. And what is a bhut yajna? Other bhut pranis, animals, plants, try to help them. Try to help them. Wherever you can. You don't have to live with them. That's one thing I see very strange. People live with the animals and then they eat the animals. Contradiction. Okay? This is bhut yajna. Just have it there for them, for the animals. They cannot talk. They cannot find food. The plants can't even walk. They can't even make sound. Take care of them. As a householder, this is our duty. Dev, Rishi, Pitri, Nar, and Bhut. I'm going to just do two more, and we are not done with the fives, but looks like we'll have to continue this class or this topic into next week. But I cannot end this class without talking about Yam and the Niyams. We've been talking about Rishi Patanjali. So these Yam and the Niyams also, Rishi Patanjali put it in that Yoga Darshan. These are the first two steps on the ladder of Ashtanga Yoga. Yam, ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha. 5. Ahimsa, non-violence. Satya, truthfulness. Asteya, non-stealing. Brahmacharya, control over your senses. And aparigraha, non-holding, non-accumulating. And these are at the physical level and at the mental level also. And at the speech level also. Kaya, Vacha, Mansa. All three levels of our personality. Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha. And then the second step on that ladder of Ashtanga Yoga is called Niyam. Shauch, Santosh, Tap, Swadhyay, Ishwar Pranidhan. Shauch, purification. And again at the physical level also, mental level also, verbal level also. Don't utter wrong words, foul words. Don't think foul thoughts. Okay? And keep your body pure. Shauch. Santosh. contentment, tap, austerity, swadhyay, study, and Ishwar pranidhan, surrender to God. Shauch, santosh, tap, swadhyay, Ishwar pranidhan. So let's stop it here. I'm sure you have some questions and we'll start. I'll finish up with these fives next time. I still have few more left. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnam Idam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaye Purnameva Vishishyate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Thank you very much for coming.